So clearly we start there. Matt Light, yes, a three-time Super Bowl champion, but Butch, something else I didn't know before tonight.
Well, he's an expert lip reader.
So you learn something new
of
every
all the
day.
things he's done, right?
Yeah. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of years, but I'm pretty sure he's not.
That's what Brady said.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what he was talking about. He could have been asked something from down below. We don't know.
No, wait a minute. Let's be clear. Julian Edelman in that video clearly says he's coming back. And you, the expert lip reader, are telling us that Brady said he's not.
Yeah, well, here's the deal, right? So I think Julian is saying to himself, please come back, please come back,
right.
please come back.
He's recruiting him.
And everybody in New England is saying, please come back, please come back. But there's been so much that has led us to the idea that a Pat season without Brady is probably more likely than not. And if it was a betting thing right now and you had to make up your mind, I got to say that I think he's going to go somewhere else. And I think that there's many reasons for that have nothing to do with the fact that, he hates New England, he doesn't like Bill. Every player goes through changes and things happen, and I think it's time for him to do something else.
So what do we make out of the fact that the two of them might have been chatting via FaceTime with Mike Vrabel last night during the game?
Even more interesting, right? I mean, I think everything that's happened since the season ended and all the talk and everything, the Hulu commercial, all that good stuff, has been a lot of fun for all the fans in one way. In the other way, you see them talking to Mike Vrabel, and it's like, what exactly is happening here? Like, is this a big, stick it to the fans, stick it to the organization, stick it to whoever? I don't think so. I think it's him just having fun. It's the first time he's ever been a free agent. Right. It's the first time he's ever had to have calls with other head coaches and the possibility of him going somewhere else. And that's a big step. I mean, think back to the time when, for me personally, going through the draft. And I'm meeting all these coaches. I'm getting to know them all. I think that's what he's doing right now, and I think he's having fun with it.
So let's be clear. You think he's leaving?
I do, yeah.
Okay. I think if he does leave, he's going to Tennessee. So we want to hear from you about Vrabel in particular, and about the relationship between Brady and Vrabel.
Well, look, those two pushed each other when they were playing against one another. Tommy, in practice, outside of practice, in a game, he's always the same. He's a million mile an hour. Vrabel, same kind of guy. And when those two would be at practice, they'd be going at it each and every day, trying to push each other, make each other better, maybe throw a few jabs in there, maybe mess with each other in ways that only those two know. So they're very familiar with one another. They enjoy the competitive side of things. And if what you saw last season with Vrabel having a couple years under his belt and being able to get those guys to buy into his mentality and his way of doing things, well, guess what? That's 12's mentality too. So I think those things, go very well together. And there's probably a lot of excitement between the two of them, thinking about the idea that they're going to be back together playing, this on the same team in a different organization in a new way, and do it the way they want to do it.
So we talk about what he might be leaving for, but let's talk about what he might be leaving. And the million-dollar question is the relationship between Bill and Tom. And after 20 years, is it just time for a change because he needs to experience something different than what he's experienced for the last 2 decades in terms of how he's treated?
Yeah, I think so. Look, Bill will tell you straight up at the very beginning, this is a very difficult place to play. You're not always going to like it, right? It's not easy by any stretch. And because of that, there almost is this separation between you as a person and the rest of the world, like that is the Patriots. And you can do that for many, many years. I did it for 11 years. Tommy's done it for 20 years. But after a while, it starts taking a little bit of a toll on you. And then once you get that mentality of, I don't know that I'm really being appreciated, or I don't really feel like I'm like the guy or whatever, then, some of those things that Bill did in the past take on a different mentality. And I think that just over time, he's probably said to himself, well, I want to go see what it's like doing it my way, all my way. I don't know. But they definitely got to this position for a reason. It didn't happen last season, didn't happen 2 seasons ago. I think that he's probably been toying with the idea of going and playing somewhere else, and now we're there.
So for all the talk about him leaving, would you be shocked if he stays?
I would not be shocked if he stayed, because if he stays, I think that there's a conversation that happens that goes above and beyond. See, 11 years I played with Bill, I had maybe 3 or 4 really specific conversations that had nothing to do with game planning or what we're doing in the offseason, straight football stuff. Contractually speaking, it's not a comfortable position to be in, to walk in and talk to your head coach. But those guys, and those things do happen. Bill will go out and he'll make it very personal at times. And he'll say, hey, man, I really want you because of this. And this is what we need you to do. And this is your role. And that goes a long way. And maybe they'll have one of those really close heart-to-heart conversations. I don't know, maybe too far beyond that point in time, but it's possible.
You got to think about this, though. He's going to go around the country, and people are going to open up the Brinks truck, and they're going to roll out the red carpet, and they're going to treat him like a king. So he's going to get that from the Chargers. He's going to get that from the Raiders. He's going to get that from the Buccaneers. He's going to get that from the Titans, right? So,
and who else?
Based on that, I mean, how are the Patriots going to treat him? Right. Do you envision them rolling out the red carpet and saying, hey, Tom, whatever you want?
Well, they have the ability to do it, right? Every team has the ability to do it. It's just how much does that affect down the line? Sure, at a price. And is it the right thing? And what you do know about, Bill's system and his mentality is he truly is doing things that are in the best interest of the team and that won't limit his ability to do things down the road, because he knows that whatever it is today is going to change a lot tomorrow. And he likes to have the flexibility within his system to be able to plug and play and not be hampered by overall costs, which is why they don't go out and pay guys a ton of money. They make it work no matter what happens. So is Bill sitting there saying this is a major problem? I'm sure he's worried about it, but I also feel as though he thinks that there's going to be somebody else that can come in and plug into that system and play for him the way he wants it to happen. I think he'd rather have this guy, though.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. This is why Bill is Bill, in my opinion. He found Tom Brady. He'll find the next Tom Brady. He's not going to do it, but that right? That's the way he thinks. Every year for the last 5 years, he's had an undrafted free agent make the team. Where does that come from? To let them know the first and second round picks that your job's not safe.
Well, did he lose his mind when Gronk retired? No. Did he go out there and overpay for another tight end? No. Did he talk about it a whole lot? No. Did they get by on offense? You can argue that. I mean, did it work out the way he wanted it to? You can argue that. I mean, obviously not in the grand scheme of things, but, look, they're able to do a lot with the kind of talent that a lot of people overlook or don't fully understand how to utilize. And because of that, I don't think he panics in these situations. This situation with Tom, it's out of his control until he makes his decision, right? So he's going to keep doing everything the way he always does. He's going to keep preparing, keep planning. He'll have an answer one way or the other. And for all of us as fans, it's kind of is what it is, as he likes to say.
I want to take it to the next level. So Bill's made his decision, and he says, Tom, we're just not going to match that. And then Robert comes down to his office, and he says, yes, we are. What happens then? What happens then? How does that affect the relationship between Bill and Robert?
Or does that even happen?
Yeah, and it's an interesting question, because as a player, what we would see, and for me too, I went in to negotiate my own deal one time, and
with Robert,
I knew it wasn't Robert. It was we had a director of player personnel in that we would go sit down and we would talk with, and he was a good guy, been in the league for a long time. You don't really know who has that position these days, and sometimes even as a player, I didn't know who the person would be that we would be negotiating with. But what you did know is that it wasn't from that person the ideas that were coming down. It was from one guy. How they valued you, what they thought of you as a player, what they want you to do in the future, and why they're willing to pay you less to do that. And so I think that if it's contractually speaking a situation where it's, hey, I want him and you got to go get him, Bill, I just don't ever see that playing out. I think that, it's a very clear line in that realm.
This is my final Brady question. If Brady leaves, does it hurt his legacy in Boston?
I think for some it does. I mean, you hear people talking about it. I've run into people all the time like, there's no way he can leave. If he leaves, no one will ever, want to hear him, when he comes back, or they're never going to praise him after this. That's one mentality. I think overall, though, I think for the average fan and even above average fan and even New England Patriot fan, they're going to say, that dude gave us a heck of a lot of good wins. And do what you got to do, Tom, right? It's in your best interest,
I agree.
Apparently.
Yeah.
You got a lot cooking. Thanks for all of that. But we've got to talk about some of the stuff you got cooking over the next few weeks. And it actually gets going 3 weeks from now. Your first event's down in Providence. Tell us about the hockey game.
We do. We're going to have our light heroes playing against the alumni for the Bruins. And it's always a great time. We're at Schneider Arena. It's Providence College. It's on March 21st. It's a Saturday. We love it because families come out and they get to run around. We take over the whole rink. So kids get to see up close and personal, right up on the glass, what it's like in this great game of hockey, which I didn't know that much about before we started doing this. So awesome event. Our website is where you can check out everything we're doing event-wise, mattlight72.com. And we've got that on the 21st, and then we've got our Fool's Night Out event.
So before Fool's Night Out, for the hockey event, if I'm a fan, if I have a family, I'm supporting your foundation, I come to the game, what type of access do I get? I mean, talk about the experience I get as a fan.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing about this event. It's in the afternoon on a Saturday. Every fan that comes out, I'm going to be working the room with them, hanging out. We're going to be, auctioning off a few things, doing some raffles, being, very engaged in the game, of course, but also having a lot of fun raising money for the Light Foundation, our programs, and what we do. They're also going to have a chance to go in the locker room at the halftime when we take a little intermission and be able to meet some of the Bruins alumni and hang out with all those guys. That's always a fun time, especially for the kids. And then we get kids on the ice at certain times. So it's a full family fun time and a great atmosphere.
And it should not go unmentioned that the Lights Heroes are the defending champs?
They are, yeah. They won last year. A little bit of a controversy. I'm not sure if the scorekeeping was exactly right, but they did win.
We got to correct one thing. It's between periods.
Well,
not,
maybe they
not
just do maybe they just do one halftime.
We do halftime. We change it up a little bit. We're taking the game to the next level, Butch. Yeah. No, not that I was aware of that, but I understand it now, and that's why we're making it our.
Don't ask him about the 17th game. We won't go there. Next, Fool's Night Out.
Yeah, let's talk about Fool's Night Out. 7th year now, and
I believe so. 7th year for Fool's Night Out. It's on April Fool's Day for those that don't know, right?
Yeah, your favorite holiday.
Right, my favorite holiday of the year, and we get Lenny Clark and all the local comedians that you can imagine. They do a great job of entertaining everybody, and then we mix in a little bit of the shenanigans from back in the day. I'll pull out some video that I may have snuck from team meetings and, interviewing some guys and, finding guys at their finest moments, and we air that a little bit too. So
you know what's great about, and you know this, Tom, because we've been to so many of his events. You go to a lot of events, and when there's celebrity athletes, it's like you can't touch the animals in the cage. That's not their events. Before you know it, you're up on stage if you went to one of those events. And
we chew on a lot of people's garments. We're like goats in your front lawn. It's dangerous. But yeah, and I think that for the guys that come out and support, right? That's one of the things that I always appreciate about them, right? These guys that, have a free moment, they want to come out, they want to enjoy themselves, but they're supporting, our work and what we do through the foundation. It means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to the fans, too, that they get to meet these folks and hang out and get to know them a little bit, too. So 2 great events, and then we're actually bringing one of our Light Foundation programs here to the Northeast, which we're very excited to launch, our youth turkey hunt. We're getting kids in the outdoors, putting cell phones down, teaching them about the outdoors and the awesomeness that is hunting, and hopefully we'll get to chase a few of these wild turkeys that are invading everybody in the Northeast. So we're actually probably helping out a lot of people on their way to work, right?
Man for others.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
and that's on the website, too.
It's on our website, mattlight72.com. So events, programs, and things are cranking, man. All is good in the Light Foundation and the Light family folds.